escalation built into it to where they're able to lock in that price at today's price and close on it 6 months or 9 months down the road. It's like free money for your buyers. So any buyer that doesn't take advantage of that's nuts.
But the builder will jack that up once they put that on the market. Like I had one, she was like at 300, and because their lender couldn't approve her, but I figured out how to do it anyway. They said no. They could sell it at 320 right now. She wanted to build on it.
6 months, 9 months down the road. Yeah, so that's something to, think of ways, how is it I can get my buyers off the fence and get them under contract and closer to closing? So, all right, with that being said, Richard?
Okay. Got a good turnout here today. Well, we have some exciting news that we're rolling out. I guess you got the email yesterday that we've come up with a new comp plan. There's going to be a couple little caveats, though, that we're going to get you guys eventually on a 100% comp plan with a small transaction fee. But to do that, we're going to really need your help in growing the brokerage and referring agents to us. So we're going to ask you to really be a part of this. Okay, we have buy-in on that? Right. Yeah. So we ask that you, when you're working with agents or you have friends out there, you probably have a lot of friends in the business. That's typically what happens, that you let them know, what we have to offer, and please help us get our numbers up, because we're going to take a drastic cut in the dollar per transaction that we normally see, put more money in your pocket. So, but in order to do that, we need to grow and bring more agents in. And we can get them in, we're going to keep them. So with that being said, we're going to pass this out so that you can take a look at it. And
as far as the cut to the company, putting you guys on a 100% split and charging a transaction fee instead, as far as the company profit, is basically about half as much profit. So for us, we have to, in order for us to have the same, a lot of our expenses, of course, are fixed. So for us to be able to maintain where we were, then we need double the amount of agents. So that's where you have to really help us out. So, my first question if I were you is, okay, what are you cutting if you're going to, if you're having half as much profit per transaction, what are you eliminating?
Good question. We're going to eliminate the moving service. We're not going to pay for the moving service anymore. So if you guys want to provide that as part of your unique value proposition, we've got the vendors in place. Go ahead and do that, but we're going to remove ourselves from that business. So that's one thing.
Moving service is one thing. The other thing is some of the marketing credits we've had in the past. So the agents that are spending the most amount of money on marketing are usually the agents that are making the most amount of money, and that's always been part of our commission platform, is to help you with that marketing. For now, it's going to be more of an a la carte, so you can choose what you want to pay for as far as the marketing. We'll still help you with it, but as far as paying for part of it, we won't be paying for part of it.
Any questions? If you read through that, there's one thing. If you get down to item number 7, we are going to have an office fee, but you can have that waived by referring one agent per month. So $90. Bring us an agent, and we'll waive it. We have to bring them on board, not just have somebody come in and interview. So everybody that we bring on board, we'll credit your.
And another way to get that, if you're just closing consistent business, you should never have to pay the $90 a month office fee, because for one, Linda with Millennium Title, she's doing a fantastic job, and so about 50% of your contracts the last few months have been closing with Linda and Millennium Title. So if you guys just, if half your business is going there, and you're probably closing a deal a month at Millennium, so that alone should also waive your fee. And we want to make sure we're always completely transparent with our communication and our service level with all of our preferred vendors. So if there's any glitch or if you have any issues with our preferred vendors, we're always looking to add to the preferred vendor list. We want to make sure that preferred vendor list is just as solid as can be. I know when I'm out on listing appointments, that is a golden tool to have that preferred vendor list and to circle and to say, this is someone that we use a lot. This is someone that's perfect for your carpets you'd be clean. This one's someone for your housekeeping, yard, whatever they need to do. doing for their make ready.
Another thing is this is going to roll out September 1st, which is just a couple of weeks away. So anything that you have in the pipeline right now, you're going to be on your old plan. Okay? And then if you haven't contributed $7,600 in company dollars, you still have to hit that plateau before you move into the transaction fee-based model. So we're running a list right now of everybody that qualifies. I think most people in this room have already qualified, so that shouldn't be an issue for you guys. But that's one other thing to keep in mind. We want to be up front and have everything laid out. And, if you have any questions right now, we'll try to answer those. Or if you think of something, just please just email me or call me, and we'll talk you through it. Another thing that we're asking you to do is, Logan is here all the time. He's readily available. But if you have any kind of questions that you think I can answer, try to bounce them off of me first, and especially on the contract side and the addendums and the amendments and things like that. Try to offload some of that off of Logan and come to me with that. Of course, you always have him as a resource, but we'd like for you to come to me with a lot of those kinds of questions. Okay? Everybody okay? Any questions right now?
I do have a question. So when a new agent is referred, do they have to start off as a rookie?
It depends on their production. We'll have access to their production. So
What we've typically done, really, in the past anyway, is any producing agent, we go back the last 12 months in their production, wherever they are, and we'll put them on that level wherever they've been performing. So this wouldn't be any different.
So then they'll have the possibility to start off.
Oh yeah, most agents actually will be starting off at 100% if they're,
because they're not going to require the hand holding and the question answering and things like that, which we don't mind doing, but it does take time. So yes, they will. Typically the ones that are going to come in, from the lowest level are going to be people right out of school that do need the most help. But we're going to be actively recruiting more at Champions than we have in the past. We'll be out there at least twice a month. And a lot of my time is going to spend on recruiting.
So the rookies start off at 70%?
Yes. And then they either hit 3 transactions or they're $7,600, and then they can move up to the next category. Anything else?
I do have a question. Okay, so if we closed with Linda like I just closed with them yesterday, I'll get my office fees waived, or is there more I have to do, or is that?
No, that's it. It's one where if you refer an agent or have a closing with Linda, either one, they both qualify. You get your opt out. If you do both, doesn't mean we're going to pay you, but we do. You'll get as long as you do one or the other.
Okay.
That's why it says and or.
So do I just email Kimberly?
She reviews. She has a funding report to where she sees where you're closing. So it should just not. You should just not be charged that much.
Okay.
Is that effective September?
Right.
What if you have more than one agent you refer? You get the $90 monthly credit, but.
We give you a big oath. No, but it's going to help because keep in mind, the more agents, then they have more opportunities to sell your listings, and the listings they bring on, that you have an opportunity to sell those.
Well, actually, it's not written in here, but I'll make that effective, that if you refer more than one agent, we want all your referrals we can get. So if you refer more than one agent a month, you'll get a credit on your bill. So we will credit you. We'll go ahead, and if you refer 5 agents, then that's 5 months office dues. So.
And then in addition to that, we're going to start having, at the end of the year, we're going to have a recruiting contest. And whoever wins, whoever sends in those referrals that we bring on board, you're going to get a $200 gift card.
Well, I'm going to up that too. If we get more than 2 from you, then it'll be better than $200. It'll be a surprise. You have my word on it. It'll be better than $200. We'll figure it out together.
I guess I should keep talking. 'Cause it gets sweeter and sweeter.
Sounds like an auction going on here.
All right.
And Barbara's gonna throw in free appraisals.
You never know with that.
You never know what we'll do. Okay, Eric?
Sure. Good morning. I know this is a change with the hour, but we're excited that everyone's here. I'm going to kick off with our awards as always. And I first want to start with Justin since he is the agent here that has won the award, and Justin is our top listing agent. So congrats, Justin. And I'm going to go on to announce Kathy Crow is actually our agent of the month, so we're happy for her. Congrats to Kathy. And Tony is kicking butt out there. He's our top producer for a couple months now. So I'm excited for him. So
How many did Tony close last month?
Kimberly, do you know that number?
He closed 6 last month.
6.
Wow, that's a good job for Tony. If you're not doing open houses on your listings, figure out why. And if you're not, get with me and I can have an agent host your open house. We can even do co-host if it's something that 2 agents want to do, but that's so important. Even for your lease listings, if they're on the market for more than 2 weeks, we definitely want to hold an open house and figure out why it's not selling. If you have a listing that's not selling, get with one of the managers and we can figure out what's going wrong with that listing. So please come and see me. We do have the signs available and it's still the same process. You would pick your signs up on Friday. We're not available over the weekend and return them back the following Tuesday. Please make sure that you're going into your back agent and seeing what forms are readily available for you. That can alleviate some questions. We have tons of information in back agent, and feel free to print that that vendor list off. Our vendors are so important. We have Kim here, who I'm excited to present. She is great, and she offers home insurance. Again, Linda's been great, and all of our other vendors. There's a reason why we have preferred vendors, so please be sure that you use those. I know since Jeremy's left, I've had some questions about marketing. And with marketing, everything's still the same, so I don't want anyone to kind of worry about that. Just send your files to Karina. We'll make sure that your marketing material is out and readily available for you. If you do want to use your own type of paper, bring that in and we'll get those pushed out at whatever deadline you need them out at. Try to give us at least 48 hours so we're prepared and it's there for you. I know some of you had an email go out last week about conversion. And so we want to make sure that everyone has a headshot, everyone's on the website. So if you're not, I'm going to poke at you until you get that back to me because it's so important. Our online presence is so important, not only for yourself, but for the brokerage. And we need to keep our marketing consistent. Does anyone have any questions about the email that went out? No.
Just to dovetail on what she said about your listing marketing, price reductions. Last week, there were more price reductions in the MLS than there was for the entire month. So this is, to me, that's a leading indicator. So pending sales, what I was talking about just now in the market report, that's a leading indicator. But what's more leading than pending sales? It would be showings and price reductions. So these are things that when properties aren't selling, then that's an indication of where the market's moving. So fourth quarter may be a lot different than it is right now. So make sure that you're preparing your sellers. Let's make sure our property is priced properly. And we saw record price reductions last week. So let's make sure that we're on top of this and that we're not chasing the market down into the fourth quarter and into the season, but that we're taking advantage of all these pending sales right now and being in front of the market with our pricing, because we're coming off the plateau of the summer season. So make sure your sellers understand that. And sometimes some of you guys are real good about, if you have a difficult seller, you'll call me, and sometimes it's amazing. It just takes one phone call or just an email from me urging them or reviewing the CMA or reviewing the market report to reduce their price, and magically they'll reduce it. They'll agree to that reduction. So use Richard or I anytime you need help with your sellers on price reductions. We're happy to do that.
Absolutely, and if we don't know, just come to us because we can't help you. So again, a reminder, headshots. You guys need to get a headshot, so I'm gonna end. And we're gonna pull for a headshot. You have 30 days to redeem your headshot, okay?
Those are all.
Christina.
Yay! Good job. Okay, I'm finished. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Kim.
It might be my turn. Hey guys, my name is Kim Stallings. I'm with Heritage Risk Advisors. We're super excited to be here and to be presenting to all of you today. I know Kathy, I go to her events, and I met Erica, I see Justin there. I saw you at Stacy Meeker's event, I think last Friday. So we're really excited to have the opportunity to be working directly with you all. So a couple of things in front of you. You have a printout of the presentation. I know it looks really dense, so I'm not going to bore you with everything on there. You can read. I know you can read. But I do want to talk about things on there because insurance, whether you know it or not, is really important to your business because it's most important to your end user, the people that are buying properties from you. We not only do personal lines insurance, we do commercial lines insurance too. So I know that sometimes you guys dabble in commercial properties, whether they be multifamily stuff or just pure investment properties. So this is really good information for you to have to maybe head off with your clients some issues that they may be hearing about before you refer them to me. And then I get to sell them insurance. That'd be fantastic. So there's some new changes with the ISO. If you don't know what ISO is, it's the Insurance Services Office. There's a couple of regulatory agencies that control how insurance comes down across our country. One is the AAIS, which you can see on there, and they mostly do home insurance, personal insurance, your personal dwellings. They're kind of the regulatory office for that. But ISO does a lot of the commercial stuff. Everybody pays attention to ISO. If ISO does something, everybody follows suit in the insurance world. So it's really important to see what they have coming out. And they are doing a really interesting change on how they are insuring roofs. So what that means, this is a great article by Amy O'Connor. And if you'll ever have a chance to read it and you need some side reading, you can check it out. It's really interesting. It's talking about how they're changing the way that they are insuring roofs for homeowners and for commercial business owners. There's a big difference between whether something is truly damaged as a roof or is it just cosmetic. So a lot of people in the marketplace are upset because they see their insurance rates go up, go up, go up, go up, and they're like, why are my insurance rates always going up? That's because anytime we have a hailstorm or a wind event, everybody wants their roof replaced. Why? Because newer roofs give you cheaper insurance rates. If you have a new roof within every 10 to 15 years, your premium goes down a lot because the likelihood that it's going to cause resulting damage from a flood is much smaller. And so people like new roofs. It's a good selling point. You have a house with a new roof versus a house with an old roof. Your client, whether they're telling you or not, is thinking, when am I going to have to replace this roof? Oh my God, it's $20,000, or my insurance premium is going to be really huge. What's my deductible going to be? That's what they're thinking. So there's been this trend of everybody getting their roofs replaced all the time, and that's killing insurance underwriters. So they're having to spread that premium increase across all your clients, whether they're personal or commercial clients, and that increases what they have to pay. So a lot of people are complaining about that. So the ISO took note, and AAISA took note of that as well and said, how can we not have to increase premiums all the time? Well, we're going to sneak this little endorsement. Endorsement's the little fine print language that's in your policy that a lot of people don't read. We're going to sneak this endorsement in that says we're not going to replace cosmetically damaged roofs. We're only going to replace functionally damaged roofs. That also goes for windows, siding, the exterior of houses, and doors. And so just because your door's been beat up doesn't mean that it doesn't functionally work and protect things inside your house anymore. Just because your roof has been beat up doesn't mean that it's going to leak. It just looks bad. But a lot of people buy on appearances. And so you have to be an educated consumer and make sure that you can see that endorsement in your policy. They don't have to announce to you that they're putting that endorsement in there. You got to read the fine print. Your agent should be reading the fine print for you and letting you know that you either do or do not have it. It's real popular for people to get these real pretty, like hardy board shingle roofs, these really nice metal roofs. It's very trendy. Oh, these are going to protect us. But a hailstorm comes through, your metal roof looks as bad as your car does. Nobody wants a really ugly, pitted, dented metal roof. But if it's not a structural issue, if it's not going to cause a leak, you're not going to get it replaced if that exclusion is on your policy. I just quoted somebody that I met in Kathy Crow's group And we saw our first one come through on a Lloyd's policy through Myra and Steve's, this little exclusion, and it's right there. It says EXL, cosmetic damage to roof due to hail, hidden like way down in this little bit of language. And I was like, ooh, this is the first one we've ever seen on a dwelling policy, which is why I'm bringing it to you guys today, because you're going to start getting those from your underwriters. We've been seeing them in commercial policies, but that's our first one in a dwelling policy. So really interesting topic. So we'll go on to the next slide because y'all can read the rest of this. Evaluations, why are they all so different? Insurance is supposed to get you back to where you were, but the question is, where were you? How are you valuing the property that you're looking at? The valuations on the left side of the page are kind of more what you guys are interested in. You know, your tax assessed value so they can get your loan closed, appraised values, you do appraisals as well. Historical cost, economic value if it's a rental property for people, an investment property, one of these cute little coffee shops, it's actually a house, a bar that's actually a house, a birthing center that's actually a house, a bed and breakfast. Those are economic values that people look at. And of course, the book value. Nobody in insurance cares about any of those. Those are really important to y'all. Nobody in insurance cares about those. We care about the things on the right side of the page, which are not always the same number as what you guys see on the left side of the page. And so a lot of people get upset when I come back to them and I say, actually, your dwelling cost is $161,000. I know you only paid, you know, $120,000 for it, but it cannot be rebuilt based on what Logan was saying earlier for $120,000. If we have an event where your house is burned down or it's windstorm down or it's flooded down, we can't rebuild that house for $120,000. I need $161,000 out of you. It takes about $100 a square foot. Builders are having to see at minimum $100 a square foot. And that's not your play pretties. That's not your granites and your marbles and your really fancy finishings. That's just getting something put back together. And so that cost difference really concerns people every day. Y'all's clients come to us when they want a Safeco policy or a traveler's policy for their homeowner's insurance, and they say, whoa, 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 why is my rate so high? My house only costs $130,000. Why are you saying it's $185,000? That's because it would cost $185,000 to rebuild your house, and an insurance company is going to insure it to the value of what it costs somebody to rebuild it, so that I don't get in trouble for writing you a check. It's not me, it's the underwriters. And so this replacement cost value is really, really important, and a lot of people don't understand that. And so you could be a real educator to your clients by kind of prepping them for that on the front end, that they may be getting a really good deal, but don't freak out if that number doesn't work out for you, and other things like when you're trying to get an insurance quote. So with new, like, kind, and quality, really interesting term there from insurance people. It just has to be in like kind. So a refrigerator has to be a refrigerator. It doesn't have to be your super fancy refrigerator. You know, if you only have economy finish outs listed in your policy, you're only going to get economy finish outs of check stroke for at the end. If you go through as a homeowner and you upgrade everything to be these really exotic, you know, fabulous custom features in your bathroom and in your kitchen, and you expect to get coverage for that if your house burns down, you better go back to your insurance agent and say, hey, we need to bump that up because I'm all custom now. I've updated my house and it's all custom now. It's going to make my resale value fabulous in the future. Not if it burns down and you can't rebuild all that fabulous customization. So that's really important. Actual cash value. People hate seeing it. ACV is not what you want on an insurance policy. You want replacement costs. You want that play pretty. A lot of people get stuck with ACV and they don't understand why. A couple of things that lead you to ACV are roofs. So we're doing a lot of roof talking about. If your roof is over 10 or 15 years old, they're either going to take your whole domicile, the whole structure, and say, we can only give you actual cash value on that. Or if you're lucky, they might pull the roof out and say, we'll just ACV the roof, but give you replacement cost on everything else inside. So you might want a number of different quotes to do the best thing by your client. Actual cash value is the replacement cost less the insurance depreciation or the insurance obsolescence based on how old the house is. That's how they arrive at that value. So you got a $150,000 house, you have it insured to value, but the roof is 20 years old. they're only gonna cut you a check for 120, and you're like, but wait, I need 150 to rebuild my house. It's not gonna happen because you have ACV, because your roof was older. You know what I mean? So this is real money. This is big money. And these are things that people, when they get burned in a situation, are starting to think about before they even go to look at a house, and why they want the play pretties and why they want the updates, so that they can know if there's an event, they're not going to get saddled, because people have been burned before and they're very confused about that. Agreed value doesn't really matter as far as houses go. It's really important with classic cars if anybody has nice cars. Co-insurance value, worst kind of deductible. We're seeing this a lot. Insurance underwriters are trying to offset their costs by adding what's called a co-insurance penalty, either 80%, 90%, or 100%. So people try to be sneaky and say, I only want to insure my property for $125,000, even though I know it's worth $150,000. Then they have a claim. If your policy has a co-insurance penalty on it, they say, well, what you did was insure for $125,000. What you should have done is insure it for $150,000. They divide those numbers up, they multiply it by the loss amount, and then they minus your fabulous deductible, which might be $1,000 or 1% or 2%, and that's the check we're gonna cut you. That check's not gonna get you to reestablishing your property. It's not gonna happen. So you wanna make sure, just because you're finding or your clients are finding cheaper insurance, there might be a reason why they're finding cheaper insurance. You gotta read the fine print, or have somebody that is gonna read the fine print for your client, so that they'll refer you business and they feel good about things. These other values really don't matter. They're important, but they're not important to the topic that we're talking about today, but for your record. So what's up with updates? This is how you can help your clients during due diligence. 4 major update systems, and we ran into this with Miss Bayu Chen, which is a client that Erica referred over to me. Buying a slightly older home, built in '84, I believe. It was a quadplex over in Garland, really awesome area, fully tenanted. But she didn't know a lot of the information about, is the HVAC been updated, which is the air in the house? Has the plumbing been updated? Has the electrical been updated? And has the roof been updated? She's of course trying to get the best deal on insurance, because that's one of the deciding factors of if she can afford the property or not. She's got to look at all her variable costs and all of her fixed costs. And so the electrical, why is it important? We don't want your house to burn down. My house was built in '74, most of it's aluminum wiring, and it's running into a Federal Pacific box. Those things apparently burn down all the time. Yay. So I didn't know that, because I didn't sell insurance when I bought my house. And so I didn't realize what kind of an expense that was going to be. Underwriters like safe bets, not risky burn your house down bets. They want to see copper wiring. They don't want to see that knob and tooth mess all in the house when somebody's done a remodel job. They want to see it all running into breakers. Those give you drastically different prices on your premium, because it puts you in a different risk category. And so if you know from the current seller what you could tell your buyer about what updates have been done to the electrical, you'll save them a bunch. Appraisers don't always look at that stuff. They're not going in the walls. The inspectors should, but they don't always look at that stuff either. So sometimes your end client doesn't know what it looks like. A lot of times the people living there before have run into issues, and they know what's inside their house. So that really helps not only your client make a good decision, whether it's an investment property or not, but a good decision and good information for you to pass on. They can pass on to their insurance agent to get them the best price, whether it's their personal property or potential investment property that you guys are doing. Roof, partial or full updates. We don't have to have the whole house electrical redone, but if we have part of it redone, that's going to look good. All they ask about is the year of the update, not what's been updated. So if you can say, yeah, we've had an electrical update in the last 5 years, awesome. What year was it? Yeah, we've had a partial roof update. We've worked on part of the shingles. That's an update. That can get you from a 20-year-old roof to a 5-year-old roof, and I'm talking a couple $1,000 difference in your premium on a property. These are big numbers for homeowners. Any of these things, yes, ma'am.
So you should have it all documented.
Yeah, so that comes, so down at the bottom where it says, okay, you say your property has been updated, prove it to me. So proving it is pictures or invoices. So it's really hard to get after you sell the house and the new homeowner is like, why is my insurance so high? I want to lower my insurance. How can I do that? Well, I've got to know when you replace that water heater. You know, I didn't replace the water heater. The owner before me replaced the water heater. It'd be awesome if real estate agents collected some of that information, made copies of it and handed it off to the new owner. Because the only way you can prove this stuff is pictures of somebody actually doing the work, showing you, hey, we took out the knob and tooth and now it's going straight to breakers, or invoices that the work has been done by somebody else. I know that seems like, oh, that's a lot of stuff I got to get on the front end, but it really speaks volumes to how you're going to take care of your future clients. You know, you're like, hey, let me give you this little packet along with all your fancy vendors that can do your yard work and everything. And here's people who can help you with maintenance and help you with your insurance. Here's some information about your property that you might find really useful in the future. You know what I mean? For insurance purposes or for updating purposes. This is what's been done in the house. It doesn't always come across on the inspection report. A lot of times it doesn't. Any of these things not being updated can cause your client to get a basic causes of loss form. A basic causes of loss form doesn't always include theft or vandalism and malicious mischief. People are like, what are these things? What do I need to worry about? Copper. Copper gets stolen out of houses all the time. All the time. How many times do you walk into a house that you're looking for as investment property, all the ceiling fans are gone, all the light fixtures are gone, the sink is gone. My neighbor's 2 doors down, their sink was missing. Like, why would you take the sink? Everything in the kitchen sink. Theft is a big issue. So if you're rehabbing a property, if you've got any clients or if any of you are investors and you're rehabbing something and somebody goes through there and steals stuff out of it, that's theft. And that number isn't always very high. What's high is the vandalism and malicious mischief number. That's all the damage they do getting the copper. That's all the damage that they do ripping the ceiling fans out, ripping the surround sound built-in speakers out. That's where you get up into thousands and thousands of dollars worth of, we got to repair, replace, and put everything back in good working order. So a lot of these basic causes of loss policies that most of your underwriters will put you on don't include that. People don't know that. They're not reading that little bit of policy detail. So those kind of things are really important. Cute little 1920s house in the M Streets. Everybody wants to buy one of those. No known updates. Let me tell you, the underwriter just says, oh, that plumbing must be from 1920. Risk, it's going to flood, big old risk, I don't like it. So you give you horrible insurance rates, or they exclude flood. So you end up with a crack or a pipe or a break and everything gets flooded, and now you don't have insurance because flood has been excluded because you don't know anything about your cute little house in the 1920s that's down there in a really popular district, or half of it burns down. And they're like, ooh, no updates to electricity. That's been excluded. Fire resulting from something electrical in the house, exclusion. And so then people get really upset about buying things, and we like to keep y'all's business really healthy because y'all's healthy business leads me to have a nice healthy business. And so this is some kind of basic overview, really important stuff that you might want to consider or find out more about or be a champion for your clients, whether they're just buying a property for themselves or buying a potential investment property. And so I made these little cute, handy dandy little cards that talk about valuation at a snap, so that if your clients get upset when they get to title, they get upset when they get to their loan, and they don't understand why all the numbers are different, you can kind of head them off at the pass. So you don't say, ooh, let me check on that, I'll get back with you. And then everything that our agency does is on the back, and there's my contact information. So keep those or throw them in the trash, whatever. I really appreciate you guys letting me talk to you today. Hope you learned something.
One quick question.
Yeah.
Just on average, how much is a premium lower on new construction versus, let's say, a 20-year-old home, 25-year-old home?
The premium for a house?
Yeah.
My clients, and we use Safeco a lot. I run everybody through Safeco because they have in the nation the best dwelling valuation. It's the best way to say that. So whether they end up going with the Safeco policy or not, I'm going to run them through there because that's going to let me know how much the property is really worth. And they will only let you write insurance for that valuation of that property. We ran into that with Faye Chen. She had a bunch of numbers saying her property was only worth like $124,000 or $270,000 or $555,000. All these crazy numbers from all these different values that came back from all these different insurance agencies. That's because they're playing with the valuation number to get a cheaper premium. But that doesn't mean that's the right thing to do because you're not going to have coverage. So we run everything through Safeco. So brand new home, we're seeing Safeco almost always does $100 a square foot. There has to be a really outstanding,
Well, but the cost of
Circumstance.
premium versus an older home, just roughly. I mean, what I've seen is about a 20% discount. So I think a lot of consumers don't understand how much less their insurance is on a new home versus an older home.
yeah.
And
And it depends
factor
what
in
coverage you want.
utilities, how much lower utilities are on new construction and insurance, it makes new construction very easy to sell. So that's just something to keep in
It
mind.
makes new construction very easy to sell, but it makes your older construction easy to sell if you have that information on those updates, because as long as there's updates, as far as the insurance company is concerned, they rate that as a brand new house, because you got brand new updates. So people are like, oh, I only want to buy new construction because I don't want problems. Hey, buy this really awesome older construction because everything has been updated, and we can tell you that it's been updated. It's all within 10 years. 10 years is really your magic number. 15 years, some carriers like, some don't. 10 years is your magic number. If you can show somebody, or if somebody's selling their property and you want to tell them how to get the best rate on selling their property, take some time, take some money, get things updated, have the proof so you can hand it to the next person so they can get the cheaper premiums. We sometimes see 30, 35% differences. It's real money. I mean, it's real money that these people are looking at for the
Texas
10
is the
years.
highest premium state in the nation, right?
Yeah, we got, regulators down there in Austin that are not super favorable to us. And so people complain in Texas, why are my rates so high? Why are my rates so high? Why are my rates so high? So they said, well, we don't want it to be bad for business, ISO, AAIS. What can we do to make rates not so high so people aren't unhappy? Well, we put this little cosmetic exclusion in there. It's cosmetic damage, we're not replacing it, so I can keep all the dwelling policy rates low.
Good.
But a lot of stuff's not covered. See how that works? It's all kind of mixed in together.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys, I really appreciate it.
Kimberly? You with us?
Good morning, everyone. So you guys should have actually received a handout this morning that goes over our new program for transaction management. I'm excited about this program. It's something that we're just rolling out. When we did our, I called a bunch of you last month and did a survey just to see what we could offer you. Several of you said that, you'd like to try transaction management. So we've listened to what you guys have asked for, and we're going to begin offering that service to you guys. So below is a list that shows what a buyer transaction will look like and what the selling side will look like. In order to start this process, once you have either a listing or if you're doing the buyer side, if you have the contract, you email it directly to me, and then I will take care of everything that's on that checklist for you. I will be obviously in close communication with you, giving you constant updates and making sure that everything is going smoothly. And then the charge for that will be just processed on your CDA. So there's no upfront charge for that. It just comes out on your CDA for you guys. It just gives you guys a little bit more flexibility and room to pursue growing your business. Recruiting our new agents so you can get your office fees waived, that's a great way. Or just getting more business on your own, out there using your sphere of influence and doing whatever you need to do to produce more business. So that's something I'm really excited about, and I'm hoping to hear from a lot of you today with either more questions or how we can get that set up. And just the other thing I want to bring up is making sure we're using our preferred vendors. I haven't had any of our agents send me one of their vendors that they'd like to have on our list in about a month. We did add 3 new vendors already this month, and I'm about to add a 4th. But I would like to hear from some of you guys on who you're using and why they're great, why you're continuing to use them. Because if they're great for you, they'd be great for the brokerage, and that's what it's all about. So if anybody has any questions now, I can definitely take some questions regarding the transaction management, or I can talk to you guys offline more in detail.
So that's $250 per side, correct, Kimberly?
Yes.
Good. I think that's fantastic. So we want you out there in front of more buyers and sellers and not spending as much time on paperwork. So we're going to do everything we can to help with that. Barbara, Mortgage Minute.
Interest rates are awesome. Right now, everything's kind of crazy because of China. So they're in flux, but we have 30-year fixed down to 3.5%. So on a conforming conventional loan, FHA rates are running around 4% to 3.875. So It's an awesome time to get a buyer.
Great. All right, fantastic. You guys go take advantage of this market.
One
Sell,
final
sell,
thing.
sell.
This is the first presentation about insurance that I did not fall asleep, so. And one other quick thing is, you can see the importance of having somebody like this as a resource. And I always say, be the source of the source, don't be the source. I personally would not try to answer any insurance questions, but I'd say, I've got a good source for you. Let me get Kim on the phone, and she can answer those kind of questions. Right?
But be involved with your client, find out, don't just tell them to call this person, find out and work with that person.
Of course.
And that's where going to, really showing your service makes a difference. So thank you, Erica, for doing so much in the last month to help us on these things, and property management. She's doing a fantastic job with property management, and that's becoming a lot bigger part of her job. And then Richard has really stepped up to the plate to do a lot more on the brokerage side, and he's really doing a lot, so I appreciate that. And we are, I think we're finished for the day, finished for the month. So happy selling out there. And thank you for your participation, and thank you for your support. We really appreciate every one of you guys being here and being part of the brokerage.
Just got some referrals.
I appreciate it. If anybody needs any of my business cards to hand out to your clients, let me know. All of the information is there. And I'm going to leave a few of these for the agents that are here.